What's going on, guys? Junior here with Custom Offsets TV on the YouTube, and today we're going to do an ultimate matchup setup for you guys. So we've got like 3 different style tires here. We got a bunch of different sizes of wheels, and what we're going to show you today is exactly how these tires pair up with different sizes of wheels and what you can expect on your doorstep from CustomOffsets.com. As you already know, you got free mount, balance, and shipping with us that you can get to your door in as little as 7 days. Check it out. They come in a package just on your doorstep. Unwrap them, put them on. It's pretty easy. So we've got a AT, we've got a hybrid style RT, XT tire, we've got an MT, we've got a big boy MT. So we're gonna start down here with the easier setups that can fit on a lot more vehicles and work our way down and go from there. Let's get into it. All right, so starting out over here, we have the all-terrain tire. This is a General Grabber AT in a 33-12.5 R20 matched with a 20x10 Anthem Equalizer. Now, what we're looking at here, right, what we're looking at is with the matchup, you're looking at what the tire looks like paired with the wheel. You have a 12.5 wide tire with a 10-inch wide wheel, and you can kind of see that there is a little bit of bulge, which is going to help protect against curbs, just general driving, pretty much everything. So if I butt it up against the edge of the rim of the wheel here, you have about a little over 3/4 of an inch, almost a full inch of bulge on this. So that's going to give you some protection definitely as you're driving down the road. The nice thing about this setup too is a 33 on a 10 wide will fit a lot of leveled or up to like 3-inch lifted trucks fairly easily with some trimming required, but it's gonna look really good and you don't need to do much to get that. In addition, all tires are gonna kind of measure differently, but when you look at this specific one, if you measure from the tread to the other end of the tread, you're at about 10 3/4, almost 11 inches there too. So you have a fairly wide tread pattern here to go with the side lugs that you have, which kind of gives you your full 12.5 wide then. Last thing I'm gonna show you on this one is the height you get with the sidewall. So if you look here, from here up, we're gonna do a little curve. Basically to the top here, you got 5.5 inches. So 5.5 inches of sidewall here. As we go down and talk about some of the other wheels and tires, you'll see that the sidewall differences are gonna vary as you kind of go bigger diameter, bigger tire, it all kind of just changes. So that's your 20x10 Anthem Equalizer on a 33-12.5 AT. Let's jump from there into a 20x12. So same height wheel. Wider though, you're going 12 wide versus 10 wide, and then a 35 versus a 33. Let's jump into it. All right, so as you guys can see, the main difference is obviously this is gonna be 2 inches taller. 35, 33, 2-inch difference. So there's kind of the first difference you'll see. The wheels are gonna be the same size as far as the diameter goes. So if we look at the sidewall here, this being a hybrid tire, you're gonna have a little bit more because you can notice the height of the tread blocks are gonna be bigger as you get more aggressive. You can see the mud tires have even more tread here. So if you're looking at this one specifically, running it all the way up to the edge here, you've got 6.5 inches. If you run it down to just the top of the sidewall, 5 inches here, and about 4.5 here. So kind of just to give you an idea of what you're looking at with this specific tire as the Venom Power Terra Hunter XT versus an AT. So with this 35, you've got the 20x12 here. If we go look at the side of this thing, you can see that with a 12.5 inch wide tire with the 12 wide wheel, you really don't have much protection. Now, this is gonna be what they call like a square setup, right? Because you basically have the tires just running straight down with the wheel. Looks really blocky and chunky, and a lot of guys dig it. I know Dustin Korth with his 14 wides and his trail grapplers give a very aggressive blocky look, and that's what he likes. So if we go here, you've got maybe 1/4 of an inch, a little more, not a 1/2 inch though. So you've got a little bit there, which that makes sense, right? Because if you have a 12.5 wide and you have a 12 wide, obviously they're centered with each other, so you'll have a 1/4 inch on this side and a 1/4 inch on this side, and there's your whole bulge. So if you're an off-road guy and you're deflating these to do off-roading cool stuff, obviously it's not gonna look like this. Once you get on a truck, you'll have weight under it, and 6,000 pounds on top of these is also gonna kind of change the way it looks too. In addition to that, if you look at the tread here, you're at about 10 3/4 wide. So this specific tire, the Venom Power Terra Hunter XT, has a 10 3/4 wide tread width, which all of these specs, all this information you can actually find with a lot of these manufacturers right on Custom Offsets. If you're shopping for tires, you can scroll down, you can see all of this info, load ratings, tire width, tire height, all of that fun stuff, tread width. So you can check all of that out there. So here's where things get fun. This is a 20x12 with a 35. When you're looking at fitment details, all that really matters is the width of the wheel and the tire height and the tire width. The diameter doesn't matter. So a 20x12 versus a 22x12 will not change your fitment specs at all. All you're looking at is the tire size, which is width and height, and then how wide it is. But if you have a 12 wide here and a 12 wide here, the tire size is the only thing that's gonna make any difference. So over here, if you kind of look at them, they're similar setups. You have a lot less sidewall here. So looking at the sidewall with a 325/50, which this measures out to 35.1 by 12.8. So it's like that much taller and like that much wider than this guy. So a little bit different, metric versus standard. It's just a thing in the tire world. It's really annoying. It doesn't make sense. If everything was freedom units, we'd be golden. But looking at this bad boy then, if you go up to the base of the tread block where it kind of meets the sidewall there, you've got about 4.5 inches. Up to the top here, you got 5.5. So let's just measure from here to here, right? Just the sidewall itself is 4.5 inches there, versus on the 20, you've got 5 inches. So again, that's the whole 22s versus 20s. You just have less sidewall, and you can directly see what that looks like with very similar fitments. Now, this one, you can also see the tire. If you kind of go do one of these. This is a mud tire, so it's gonna be a lot more aggressive than this, and you can just see that by looking at it. So driving on these, this is a lot more luggy. This is gonna rub more than this will, just due to the fact of the design of the tire, right? This is meant to go through mud. It's got a lot of open spots between the tread pattern versus a more close-knit pattern. So just something else to keep in mind. Now, looking down the side of this bad boy, you can see it's got these knobby tread blocks that kind of just run through the sidewall. More or less just design. Unless you're off-roading with these things, it's not really gonna do anything. But looking at the amount that you have for bulge then, you're at about a 1/2 inch. You're at about 3/4 of an inch with these included if you kind of add that in there. So you can call them curb protectors if you want. This is a Mickey Thompson Baja Boss. So if that's the tire you're kind of looking for to go with, that is what this is. But again, you have a 22/12 on here with a 325/50, which is about a little over 35. It's 35.1 by 12.8. So jumping from that to that, you can kind of see, I'll just line these back up again. You can just see that difference in kind of what it looks like. Fitment's gonna be similar, but that's why you see guys running more the rubber band look. They go with a bigger diameter wheel, maybe not wider, similar size tire, if not the same size tire that you can get for both of these, and there you go, if that's your style. Now, jumping from here up to our biggest size that we have, this is not necessarily the biggest size we have on our site, but this is the biggest size we have here for demonstration purposes, a 395/45 R26 Fuel Gripper MT, which essentially translates out to a 40-inch tall by 15.55 inches wide. So this is essentially your 40 by 15.5, which a lot of companies have, with a ARKON Caesar in 26/14. Now, looking at this thing, you got 26s, you got 40s. What does that sidewall look like compared to a lot of these other ones? Because as you scale up, you can imagine that a 22-inch tall wheel with a 35 is gonna have the same general sidewall height as then a 24 with a 37. So jumping up 2 inches in tire height and then 2 inches in wheel diameter is gonna give you that same ratio because you're growing at the same rate. So 26s and 40s is bigger tire than this ratio is, so it should hypothetically then have more sidewall. And it does. If you go here to the bottom, you're at 5 inches. Up to the top of the tread block is 6, but you have 5 inches of sidewall there with your 26 and your 40. If you look at that from the side, then we'll get in there for the side profile shot. Again, this is a 15.5-inch wide tire on a 14 wide, and you can see that these don't run very wide. You have a 1/4 of an inch for protection essentially. So if you're hitting a curb and you're driving your truck, you're hitting the curb when you're driving your truck. We can also look at the tread width on this thing. So these fuel grippers are not as aggressive of a MT pattern, but they have a fairly wide width to them. They're at 12.5 inches of just tread width itself. And then tread width out to the edge, you've got about 1.5 inches. So then it does run a little bit narrower considering it's on a 14 wide. You don't really have any protection at all considering you're running on an 1.5 inch wider tire than you have wheeled. But that's your setup. If you want to go big, this is the route to go. Obviously 26, 14s, 40s, but there's a market for everything. 22s, 35s, all the way down to 20s and 33s, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking at wheels and tires to put on your truck, obviously these are some great examples. We got plenty more in our gallery at customautosports.com/gallery. And as always, you can check it all out at customautosports.com. That's all we got for you.